Hello, people! It's hammer time! Zaim is first in the house, and we also are joined by Dinkan. Welcome. Today we're gonna do some tactics because we gotta keep the mind sharp for future tournaments. This coming Friday, I'm traveling to Denmark and the ExtraCon Chess Open in Helsinki. So that's going to be interesting. And to keep my glowing form, I'm just going to mention it one more time. The winner of the Norwegian King's Trophy given to the Norwegian champion. Um, to keep that form going, I'm gonna have to do some tactics today. Skynet is also in the house, and let's just get started with some exercises. The queen is trapped except for b4, so queen b4 is an option. Bishop g4 also looks pretty good. Bishop g4. Bishop g4 looks very, very good. Bishop g4, knight f3. Knight f3. And then I take on d6 and take on d4. That was really not the start to the day I had in mind. King e1. Um, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say. I guess you're gonna have to exchange, and then you got a lot of trouble on the d file. The queen had only one place to go, and even so, I did not manage to solve that one. Okay, let's move on. Ooh, a study. I'm pretty good at those. Okay, so rook h6 check is annoying. Knight e7 is interesting. The problem is that my rook is hanging. Knight e7 would try to box in this king, but then I lose my rook. So I should move my rook. Rook c4, and then if rook h6, I can go king c7 and then check, check. Possible Zugzwang. Somehow rook e4 is more tempting than rook c4, because if rook e4, then it's actually pretty dangerous, difficult for him to stop the checkmate on e8. So rook e4, rook h6, king c7. Um, King a7. And I think rook e4 has to be the solution. But then check and king a7. Do you have to win with white here? Yes. Making a draw shouldn't be too difficult. So I'm looking for a win. $100 from Face Check. Thank you. Face Chess, I mean. Thank you. I got more Hawaiian shirts. Don't you worry about that. What I do not have is the solution to this puzzle. Rook d4, rook h6, king c7, king a7. Then what's next? Irrigs with the 6-month resub, earning himself the golden hammer. Thank you. King c7 suggests Ryataman, but unfortunately my rook is under attack. So king c7 at this moment would probably be a mistake. But you might be onto something, actually. No, probably not. I was thinking maybe rook f1. Rook f1 with the idea of rook h6, then king c7. And then I have my rook ready on the first rank. King a7, knight b4 should be winning. So rook f1, then if rook takes d5, that is a problem. That is a problem. Rook f1, rook takes. And how am I giving checkmate? I don't think I am. Which is an issue. So rook d4, check, king c7, rook a6. Now rook a6, I have knight b6. So yeah, he needs to go king a7, king a7, and then knight b4, knight b4, knight f6 doesn't work, knight f8, and then the knight is kind of blocking the check. My problem is I don't even see any ideas how this is going to work out for white. Rook g4. No, now I'm just being crazy. What refutes rook c4? Asks Marius. Well, my concern is rook h6, king c7, king a7. That is my main concern, but I also have other concerns, such as king b8. I don't even see any good ideas. It's very frustrating. I do not see anything interesting. Yeah, knight f6 at some moment could be interesting, but it's not obvious to me how I'm gonna make it work. Rook c4, king b8, rook e4. Well, I mean, I still have the concern about rook h6. If I could just keep my king on the 6th rank, then it would be fine. But in all of these variations, he has rook f6. No, rook h6, which checks my king and forces my king away from what is pretty much the optimal square for that guy. Maybe it's the summer heat, but I am completely stuck. I have nothing, no ideas on how to do this. I guess rook e4 is my best attempt. Or rook d4. Rook d4, check, king c7, king a7, knight e7, king a6. Okay, how about this? Rook d4, check, king a7, I give a check, rook a6, rook b4. Then I'm closing in on something. But knight f6 is... Riata Man asks from a 40 degrees Mexico summer. Yeah, no, it's less than 40, but it's still pretty hot in my mind. 30 or 25, yeah. Well, I think it's maybe even more than 25 right now. There's a difference between rook d4 and rook e4, says Takanan. Takana. Tnikhan. I'm sure there is, but I cannot see it. I cannot. Well, I want to go d4 because I feel like if I go rook e4, his knight might come into play more easily. So that's why I think rook d4. And then check, king c7, rook a6. So far, so good. No, not rook a6. He goes king a7. And then if I give a check on a4, rook a6, rook b4, then he has knight f6. Trying to exchange off my attacking piece, and I don't see how to fix that. Hey Chessbait, how are you? Yeah, no, actually I'm stuck, and I realized that I'm sitting inside, but the thing about Norway and summer and it being hot is that everyone in Norway thought, well, this is a pretty northerly country. We don't have any need for air conditioning or any such stuff. And so Norway is not among the best people with, we don't have the best air conditioning in the world. And as such, my apartment is more than, well, it feels like it's more than 25. It feels like it's sauna. Rook c7, king c7 is some last minute suggestions. King c7 blunders the rook. Knight c7 doesn't achieve anything. I'm gonna go rook d4. Okay. Rook e4. Knight c3. Okay, I was nowhere close to seeing knight c3. Yeah, okay, yeah, I understand what's going on. How is rook d4 different? I'm gonna open the analysis. Okay, rook d4 allows king b8. And if knight f6, then black has rook b5. Okay, so that was easy. And what I was counting on was this defense, and then you have the same idea with knight c3. So I couldn't see this knight c3 idea, and then I was nowhere close to solving it. So the idea is that if now king a6, then rook a4 is checkmate. So I was considering this move, which is pretty much the same idea, threatening rook a4, but then king a6 escapes. So knight c3 is clever because it threatens rook a4 check, but at the same time, the knight keeps control over the b5 square. So if you just do a random move, trying, well, maybe not this move, but this move, trying to get the knight into play, then you see the point of knight c3, because the knight is coming, attacking the king, forcing the king back, after which the white can give checkmate. So that was a good puzzle, but I was nowhere close to solving it. And so far, so bad. I missed 2 puzzles in a row. Okay, queen h5 is very tempting. Queen h5 feels like kind of the move everyone is expecting, since it's a puzzle. Queen h5, h6. Maybe just bishop takes h6. Past Pawn 99 with the 2-month resub. Thank you. So Queen h5 is definitely on the agenda. Do we have other moves? You know what? I'm not. This is my mood right now. I'm just gonna do it. Overthinking, I'm not gonna do today. It's way too warm outside. I'm not gonna overthink. Okay, so far so good. That was honestly, I was surprised that I got that one that easily. Still one move left to seal the deal. King g8 was a clever move. Check. 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 I don't think that's going to work. Maybe just take the rook on f8. Excuse me. Maybe just take the rook on f8. Take the rook and then queen takes and then bishop g5. That looks pretty good. Congratulations on winning the Norwegian Championship, says Past Pawn. Thank you. What this needs is a wombo combo, says Muck Image. Splish, splash, splush. Well, I think, if anything, that continuation I had there is the best illustration of swish, swash, swoosh I have seen. That was just brute force all the way. I saw this, but what if queen takes f8? Asks Tricks for the win. Let's open the analysis board. I was intending bishop g5. I was intending to go bishop g5. So queen takes, and then bishop g5 is no good. After queen f7. That is kind of embarrassing. So what I should have done, oh, bishop b3. Takes, 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 and when the king has to go to the h-file, we just move our bishop. Okay, so I guess I was fortunate that the computer didn't take back with the queen, because I had the wrong solution there. Orange juice with tons and tons of ice cubes, Ibrahim. It's more ice cubes with orange juice than it is orange juice with ice cubes. And that is what you need to have on a hot day like this one. Okay, interesting. A study. I think white is supposed to make a draw. Because if f7, then knight d6 check. But probably I'm going to go f7 anyhow to get my king closer. Actually, king d5 is not so silly. King d5, knight takes f6, king e6. Maybe actually I'm scared of... Yeah, I'm scared of knight takes g4 there. Knight takes g4, h takes g4, and then h5. And that is winning for black, I think. So that seems like a good reason to go f7, knight d6, then king d5, knight takes f7, and then king e6, knight to d8. Am I gonna chase this guy all around the board? That would be kind of funny. Nah, that's not gonna work. f7, check, king d5 takes. King d5 first, knight takes f6, king e6, knight takes g4. Hmm. Okay, maybe this pawn endgame is a draw. King d5, knight takes f6. King e6, knight takes g4. F takes g4, h5. h5, king f5, h4, king e4. King takes h. Nah, that's never gonna be a draw. Face Chess recommends a 2-to-1 ice-orange juice ratio. That's interesting. That might actually be just about what I have. f7 and the king can't take any of the pawns and then advance the king. I don't follow Fiataman. f7, knight d6, king d5, knight takes f7. I'm not sure that's a draw. I think the knight kind of gets the f pawn and escapes. King d5 takes, king e6, knight takes. Knight takes g4, takes back. Oh, and I hide the king on g. No. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's fantastic. I hide the king on h6 and it's stalemate. That is spectacular. That is spectacular. I have it. I got it. I got it. Is anyone in your family named Thor? Asks Marius. Not on the Hammer side of the family, no. Okay, I got it. This is very, very cute. This is so nice. Fantastic. That was a great puzzle. Marius says, you need to tell us. None of us in the chat have any idea what's going on. Well, now you do. And this one I thought was really nice. Face Chess with 100 bits. Brilliant, he says. Thank you. That one was very cute. +1 for that one, says Alex. Feels bad, man. Well, as long as I get them, I'm pretty happy. That was a good puzzle. I mean, I really enjoy these studies where where the motifs are so, I think, beautiful. I know that aesthetics in games is very subjective, but this I really thought was beautiful. Again, please, a little slower, says Uhiggs. Yes, let's do it again. And 100 bits from Marius and 500 from Halfstone. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time. So King D5 is the only move to make a draw. If you go F7, then you don't get a new queen. You get forked with the knight, and the knight kind of just escapes. So all the way, the knight just has one move, one square to escape to, without having a repetition of the position. But that doesn't really make any difference because the knight just jumps across the entire board until it finds a pawn on f3 to gobble. So f7 was not the solution. The solution was king d5, and then knight takes f6, king e6. And the idea here is that black struggles to keep his pawns. So if knight takes h7, then king f7 is actually Zugzwang. And black has to move his knight to a square where the white king can just take the knight. So that's a problem. And if you go knight e8, then I can go king f7 and king g6. And I get a hold of the black pawns. So the only solution is trying to go into a winning pawn endgame. And it is true that the pawn endgame is winning, but there are some tricks. So after h5, I get the opportunity to play. Yeah, so king f5 is what I was looking at first, but this is not going to work because black gets a protected passed pawn, and white's king is going to have to run into defense trying to stop that pawn, while black's king can just really get the entrance to the remaining white pawn. So we need something very special, and here takes on h5 is that special thing. And now after g4, there's only one move that saves the draw, because if king f6, you give black time to remove this pawn on h7. So you have to go king f5, threatening the pawn. Then he has to go g3, getting a new queen. And then you go king g6. And now you protect the pawn on h7. And black only has one legal move. And after g2, you just make it in time to play king h6, blocking your pieces. And now if the pawn promotes to a rook or to a queen, it's stalemate along the g-file. Do you think you would have found this over the board? Asks Tomato Juice. I'm not sure. It's much easier to find because it's a puzzle. The fact that I know that there is a solution makes it so much more easier to find than in a game. So I'm gonna say I hope I would have found it in a game, but I kind of doubt it because you get a bit of a defeatist attitude being a piece down like that. So I'm gonna say probably no, I wouldn't have found it in a game. I found it because I knew there was something to find. What about promoting to a lesser piece, says Muck Image. Well, the thing is, if you promote to a bishop, you cannot give checkmate with a bishop. So the only lesser piece you can promote to and still manage to do a checkmate is the rook. But once again, the rook takes out the squares on the g-file. So promoting to a lesser piece is just going to be that there's not enough material to win. Okay, that one was very good. I'm happy with that one. Let's go to the next one. Okay, I'm tempted by knight takes d5. Knight takes d5 is my main move right now. Maybe rook e6. So black's threat is knight f6, and I'm looking for ways to stop that. Rook e7 could be interesting. Too many pieces on the board, too much to keep track of. I'm struggling once again. So many pieces to keep track of. And so warm. I mean, rook e3 would be kind of the obvious move. But rook e3, then knight f6. And if rook g3, the queen can just sacrifice itself on g3 because he's threatening my queen with his knight on f6. So that's not going to work. Staley thinks rook e8, but then rook e8, knight f6. I don't know how to reply to that. Face chess, looking at rook e6 followed by rook g6. Yeah, that was my initial idea as well. But after rook e6, I was afraid of something. Rook e6. What was? I thought I had something in mind. Rook e6, maybe knight e5. Rook e6, knight e5. But then I can just play rook takes e5. Should be winning. Rook e6. Rook e6 was the first move I mentioned, no? But I thought I had a plan against it. Rook e6. Bishop somewhere? No. Rook e6, bishop c5. You would think I have a checkmate. Somehow. Rook e6, bishop c5. So very close to being checkmate. But I don't see the finishing blow. G3 followed by Queen G5 suggests Mickey, but after G3 then I have no response to Knight F6, counterattacking my queen on H5. So I don't think G3 works. Rook E6, Bishop C5. There's gotta be something here. Rook E7 followed by Queen E8 suggests Tyrant. Rook E7, I thought maybe he can just take the rook with his bishop, and I couldn't see a follow-up. Knight E7 followed by, yeah, but Knight E7, I think he can just go King G7, and I haven't really accomplished anything in that position. Actually interesting. Knight E7, and if he goes King G7, then I can go Rook E6. With the idea that Knight F6, Knight F5 transposes to the other variation I was trying to get. And by having Knight E7 first, I have stopped Bishop C5. On the other hand, after Knight E7, he can take on E7, Rook takes E7, Knight F8. Knight F8, and he seems to be blocking my my checkmate threats. Rook E7, and the knight cannot move to F6. I don't see why not. Knight F6 looks like a good move for white there. Okay, interesting for Marius. Rook E7 with the idea Bishop E7, Queen E8, Bishop F8, Queen E6, checkmate. That's pretty interesting. But if you put the knight in between instead of the bishop, then I don't see how you're proceeding. But the idea of getting the queen in the long diagonal is absolutely very interesting. Rook e6 feels like the right move to me. Rook e6, bishop c5. It's so very close to being checkmate. Maybe there I can just go g3, chasing the queen away. Yeah, g3, queen f2, king h1. And he cannot stop queen g5, probably. It feels so dangerous for him. I'm gonna try. Okay, knight c5. What is wrong with rook g6? Rook g6 is winning a queen. No? This was the entire idea behind our plan. And black just allowed it. Okay. Good job. We're going to take a look at the analysis board to see what would have happened if bishop c5, which was my main concern. Yeah, okay. I said g3 is what I said when I decided this was nothing to be scared of. And indeed, the computer confirms that just chasing the black queen away is sufficient to give a winning attack. Actually, this I didn't even notice, but oh yeah, it's a queen d2, just so many pieces around the black king. There's no way he's surviving this. Okay, next one. Okay, still quite a few pieces on the board, but this one feels easier than the other ones because it's less pieces, and that should also mean less of a choice, less of a decision to make. H6 is pretty tempting. H6, then F6 is the only move to stop Queen G7 checkmate. Also, the black queen is very close to being trapped. That might actually be the solution, just trapping the black queen. Rook e to g1, then queen f3 is the only move to keep the queen alive. Then if I take on g6, then he has to take back with the f pawn. First question, can I sacrifice my rook on g6 to get checkmate? The answer is probably not. Probably I cannot do that. Actually, this one is pretty difficult because it's so many tempting options. Face chess is feeling like queen f6. That's a very good suggestion. Queen f6, but then bishop f5. I'm a bit concerned about black making some checkmate threats. But we can keep the idea of queen f6. Because maybe we can go rook eg1, queen f3, and then queen f6. And then it's very difficult to stop h6 coming up next. But it's a bit uncomfortable whenever the queen can start checking the king. So it doesn't feel like the cleanest of my options. It feels like I should have something even better. I think in a normal game, I would just play bishop d3, pointing the bishop in an open diagonal toward my opponent's king, and also having some ideas of trapping the black queen. Amps asks what happens if h6, f3, rook e8. Well, there's a rook hanging on h1, so I imagine nothing good happens in that variation. Now, bishop d3 feels like a pretty good move, but it doesn't feel like the kind of move that's the solution to this puzzle, which is unfortunate. Bishop d3 stops bishop f5, which is the main plan for black. And basically, when black cannot play bishop f5, I don't know what black is doing. Basically, bishop f5 is the only plan black has at his disposal. So bishop d3 to me just looks like a very simple, easy move to limit black's counterplay and thereby just winning through an attack. And it's not like it's without poison either, because the bishop can sacrifice itself on g6 in many variations. Tankan asks, what happens if you take on g6 and then go rook takes h7? That's a good question. That also looks like a winning plan. Takes, takes, takes. Takes back, check, king h6. Queen g7, king h8. Queen h7, king g4, queen takes. Yeah, it's probably winning. Takes and takes on h7. Probably winning, but on the other hand, I'm not sure if bishop d3 is not winning more easily. Bishop d3. The thing is, I cannot suggest a single move for black after bishop d3. On the other hand, in this kind of tactical exchange, I cannot see a good defense for black either. But naturally, I realize that it's more likely that I miss something in a tactical exchange than if I just move one move ahead. Marius suggests that I open some Ogre books and do some positional puzzles. I don't know. I think those are too difficult. Maybe. I'll consider it. Jumpin' Jackson says, why doesn't take on g6 work? And it looks like a mating attack. Uh, and at the very least, white wins an exchange. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It does look pretty good. Okay, for the record, I'm gonna say that bishop d3 is a good move and wins the game. But I am swayed by the suggestion of brute force going into this endgame with an exchange up. Okay, so the position that Jumpin' Jackson referred to with the exchange up was after rook takes f4 and then king takes b2, rook takes c4. And honestly, that is the position I saw as well, and I didn't think it was clear enough. I really thought that white could get something much better than this this position. Okay, bishop d3, c5, queen f6. I missed queen d4. I missed queen d4. Okay. Rook e5. Very nice move. Wow, that's spectacular, actually. How is this not perpetual check? Okay, this is pretty crazy stuff. And white wins, apparently. Okay, so probably this was winning as well, but there were some lines here which were just as complicated, if not more complicated, than the other thing. So this is better than the solution, asks Fraggy. Um, yeah, I think so. I don't know. Nah, maybe not. Because there is something to be said for just simplifying the position. The thing about the solution was that you got into an endgame that you knew you were going to win. So as long as this is completely winning, the other variation is probably just as good. Yeah, no, this is the problem with the puzzle. The puzzle should have continued until this move. Because here it's kind of important to take this pawn instead of taking the rook on b2. So I think what I'm going to say is that the solution was good, but it should have continued one more move. Because here after rook takes c7, you threaten rook h8 checkmate as well as taking this one. So you win a rook instead of an exchange. So winning the full rook is gonna be a decisive advantage. But what I was planning to do was this. And this is not entirely, I mean, it's probably winning, but it's not at all very clear, which is why I thought it was interesting to go with the bishop d3 variation. Okay, let's move on. Another pretty tricky puzzle. However, I'm pretty sure I have had this puzzle before. Or something very, very similar. Okay, so I gotta prevent rook h1 checkmate. I gotta prevent rook h1, and there's only one way to do that. And that is playing queen takes b4. Or should I go check, king f3, and then e4 check? But then, Okay, queen takes b4, then d4 is the likely move for white. And then f5. King somewhere. King f3. And then queen b3 check. I don't see a problem with that variation. If f5, what happens? f5 also looks pretty good. Chesky, with the important idea. If queen takes b4, there is rook c4. Good find. That does seem like that does feel like a problem. Rook c4. Very good idea. But if f5, then king g3, bishop f4, king f3 is also not great either. Queen takes b4, rook c4. Yeah, that's a good move. I'm actually tired. So f5, king g3. f5, king g3. And then what do I do? I'm tempted to going bishop h4, king takes h4, and then queen takes b2, threatening queen h2 checkmate. And then probably he needs to go king g3, and then I can go king g5. But the thing is, after king g5, he has queen g2, which is a bit annoying. So f5, king g3, bishop h4, king takes h4. Now I'm thinking about queen takes b4 check. What other candidate moves are there than f5, says Irigs. You make a decent point, sir. I guess let's go f5. Okay. I'm pretty sure I messed up that puzzle previously. That puzzle looked very familiar to me. But the solution didn't look familiar at all. Okay, first thought, queen b4, and then put the queen over to the king side with queen h4. That's my first idea. I don't have a lot of attacking pieces. I don't understand how I'm supposed to win this. Rook d1. Yeah, rook d1 has to be the solution. Because I need more pieces into the attack. Rook d1, queen c7, rook d6. Yeah, that has to be it. I needed more pieces in the attack. So far, so good. And now probably queen b4, followed by queen h4. Okay, that was a quick one. We need a couple of those to pick us up from a difficult start. Okay, what's next here? Knight e3 check. And then rook takes e3, probably the only move. Maybe king g1 is an option. No, king g1, then queen somewhere. Queen f3 probably results in checkmate. Knight e3, rook takes e3, queen d5, but he does have king h3. He does have king h3, so it's not going to be that easy. Queen f3 first. Queen f3, king g1, knight e3. And then if rook takes, I have mate. If queen takes, I win a queen. If pawn takes, I give checkmate on the second rank. Okay, two quick ones in a row, and now a study. This is going pretty well. What is going on here? It's checkmate. No? I'm very confused right now. It's checkmate in 3 moves. I'm very... Oh no, he has king c3. Oh, I almost made too quick a move there. Thank you, Face Chess, for the 100 bits. White did not have a perpetual because my queen was covering a8 while my rook was covering b8. So he didn't actually have any checks on my king. Okay, knight a8, a5 is probably the solution. Knight a5, king c3, rook d4. Maybe rook d4 first. I don't know. This puzzle doesn't really seem very difficult, but it may be deceiving. Knight a5 check, king c3, bishop d2 check, king d3, rook d4 check, king e2, and he kind of runs away. So I don't want him to run away. I'm gonna have to find something else. So I'm actually kind of tempted by knight d2, king c3, rook d4. Because it really does box his king out in somehow. But he has queen b2 check, which is somewhat annoying. Hundred bits from Face Chess. Have a good day, Hammer. I gotta go. Well, thank you for dropping by. I'm gonna sit here pondering this for a little bit more. What about starting with bishop d2, says Job and Jumpin Jackson. Two guys suggesting the same first move. That does... I was thinking about the same thing, as a matter of fact. But after bishop d2, king a2, I'm having some problems, because then black is actually threatening checkmate in one move with queen b1. And I'm not sure how to counter that. Yeah, I'm not sure. MCJGP says it's knight a5, king c3, rook b4. Yes. Yes, it is. That does seem like a very good move. That's a very good one. Queen g8, stopping rook b3 checkmate. Huh. But it doesn't matter, because I'm gonna do it anyhow and then use the bishop to lure the king away from the queen. MC with the solve. I feel like I should have seen that, but I didn't. So there you go. Okay, so bishop takes d5, then the idea is probably bishop takes e5. I'm very tired. Bishop takes d5, bishop takes e5, bishop takes b7. It looks pretty good to me. Any objections? It looks like at the very least I'm gonna win a pawn. Okay, I'm going for it. Ugh. And you cannot guard h7. The worst thing is I even thought about this idea. I even thought about that idea, I just didn't complete the thought in my head. Ugh. Ooh, and also I missed a very nice move here. This is actually very good. Rook d8. That's a stunning move, and it's brilliant. Because I thought that either I take his rook or I take his bishop, but here I cannot take his bishop because of queen d1 check. That was a very nice rook d8 is a very nice move here. Okay, let's move to the next one. Knight b3 is pretty tempting. Knight d3 is pretty tempting. Oh no, both of these run into... yeah, but on the other hand, does it really matter? Rook c7 check, I can just move my king. It's not really that big of a deal because I'm having checkmate threats in the g file. Now, doing puzzles when you're a bit tired, very dangerous. That puzzle rating of mine has gone one way since the start of this session, and it's down, down, down. I don't know, knight d3 still looks pretty good to me. Knight d3, check, king h8, rook d2, and then I just need one kind of good move. Actually, maybe... yeah, maybe knight to b3 is even better, because protecting that bishop is actually pretty tricky. Knight b3, and then what's he gonna do? I guess rook... I don't know. It feels like he doesn't really have any moves. Rook c7, king h8, rook b2, rook b2, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, queen g3 check, king h1, queen takes h3, rook h2, and queen f1 checkmate. Okay, so he plays rook d1 instead. And now I can take this one and give a check. But what's the follow-up? Ah, there's checkmate on f3. Never mind. Checkmate on f3. Got it in the end. Also, I need to get a haircut. This is also part of why it's so warm. My head is so warm because I haven't gotten a summer haircut. Queen takes, then queen g3 check. Okay, I'm just gonna assume that the answer is king d5. I'm not sure why. Okay. Bad assumption. Well, this is pretty much what I was trying to do. Bad assumption. Yeah, very bad assumption. Yeah. Mm, that was horrible. Okay, where to move the king? Once again, I'm gonna make an assumption. I'm gonna assume that I'm supposed to go king here, because I don't see any defense after that. Okay, it's, yeah. I'm not sure who to blame, but someone is to blame. Why on earth is that not correct? No, I'm looking at the position trying to figure out why that's incorrect, and I have no idea. There's no checks. I'm threatening queen takes b2 on the next move. Oh, he has queen b6. Oh, he has queen b6. Protecting stuff. Queen b6 protecting stuff. Okay. I believe I am on a tilt. I think that is the best explanation for those quick two answers. I'm tired and I just want this to be over. Unable to calculate. I'm just skipping through them like a breeze. Just more depressing. Knight g5 looks pretty good. Knight g5. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Thank you. Okay, so it's definitely check here first. Check, king f7. And then bishop c2, knight c2, bishop takes c2, rook e1, bishop b1, rook e5. But then he has a1 getting a rook. And I'm not sure how to respond to that, because that's kind of annoying. Getting the rook there. Ah, I have maybe I can go rook a5. Check, king f7, knight c2, bishop takes c2, rook e1, bishop b1, rook e5, a1, rook. Rook a5, bishop a2, and then I can just check with the rook. If he got a queen, it would have been stalemate. So rook e5 prevents him from from queening by creating the stalemate. And then if he does something else, then I have rook a5 preventing him from getting a new queen. So he needs to promote immediately, so he needs to get a rook. And then rook a5 gets the rook to check the black king away from the white king trapped in the corner. Bishop a2, then rook a7 check. And then I just check, 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 check. Okay. There's a free rook over here. I can just take that guy. Is there a reason I shouldn't take this guy? I'm gonna make one of those silly mistakes again. I'm just gonna take this guy. You know, if you become as good as me, you can get these puzzles and get 3 points for just taking pieces. Okay, that one was overly easy, I would say. A 2700 just to take the pieces puzzle. +3 for this, asks Zero Test User. Yeah, you know, that's my life. Sometimes you just gotta take your opponent's pieces. And sometimes you get points for reminding people about that. Okay, next one. Queen g4 threatens knight takes c2 followed by queen d1 checkmate. d3 is pretty tempting. d3 stops the checkmate. Making it a pretty darn tempting move. Knight f3, is that a good move? Maybe. No, knight f3 seems to allow a perpetual. I'm just gonna go d3. It looks very solid. I'm feeling good right now. That was fairly easy. Okay, this one is worse. So many pieces I can take that my opponent can take. So many options. Okay, so rook takes f6, bishop takes f6, queen check, king takes, knight check. Probably I don't have enough pieces left. Take, rook takes. Take, bishop takes. Check. Takes. It's very close to something. Take, take, check, take. If I can just get rid of this knight on e5, that would solve a lot of problems. Because that knight is protecting the f7 square, which is really crucial. Maybe knight e6 first. Maybe if I do that first, then there's no defense. So I want to do this and then eventually this. But if I do this first, then there's no way for him to stop my plan of rook takes f6. It's another example of the threat being stronger than its execution. So knight e6, and there's no way for him to stop rook takes f6. Knight e6, takes, check, take back, check, rook in the middle. What if he takes with the queen? Knight e6 takes with the queen. Then I take back, he takes back. Bishop is hanging on g7. It's not great. Knight e6, queen takes. Knight e6, pawn takes. Ooh, maybe he doesn't even have to take with the pawn. Knight e6, queen takes. Knight takes on d3. Ooh, that's clever. It feels to me like he's getting too many pieces for his queen. But actually there I have knight g5 back. And then he has the same trouble to deal with. This is very complicated. Knight e6, knight h5. This is Borkro. Yeah, that's a good point. Knight h5. Also a possibility. Take. Ooh, that's very cute. Does it work? No. For a moment, I thought maybe takes bishop g7. But I couldn't get it to work. He just takes with the king. Takes. Bishop takes. I don't know. To me, it seems like every single line, black gets enough for a queen. So I think black needs to sacrifice his queen, but in very, very many lines, he gets enough for it. And much thanks to this knight on e5, which is doing a fantastic job. Why didn't the line work with rook f6? Asks test user. So rook f6, bishop takes, queen check, king takes bishop on f8, and then after knight e6, you take with the queen. You take with the queen, you take back, you take on e6, and then black has a ton of material for the queen, as well as some good bishops, fantastic knight in the center. I don't see how there's even a remote chance white is better there. As a matter of fact, I think black is close to winning. Wow. Queen h6. Did we consider queen h6? Queen h6. If rook takes f8, then rook takes f6. And then the king doesn't have the escape square on f8. If you take on d3, then you can take on f6. Because after bishop takes f6, queen. No. Queen h6, you take on d3. No, you take on d3, maybe I can play rook h4. Yeah, so queen h6 takes on d3, then rook h4. How's everyone in here getting smarter? No, I'm just getting warmer. I'm boiling inside. This is our second to last puzzle, and I think queen h6 is the answer. I'm feeling pretty good about this, so I'm just gonna go for it. I think I should take this one. Because if king g1, then queen takes d4. Feels like it's a bit disruptive. If I take this one, if I take this one, then I can block the check on f3, and I can also just stick my king in the corner afterwards. King g1. Actually, I don't see a problem with king g1. But I think I'd rather not have to play it. King g1 seems to me like it's winning as well. You know, there are some extra options, I feel. I think this is safer. Don't take it, says High Five Guy. Okay, do you have an argument for why I shouldn't take this one? It looks pretty good to me. On the other hand, if I do take it, if I take it and then queen d5 check, knight f3, then the queen is protecting f7. So maybe he can go rook, no, knight h5. No, knight h5, I just go check and checkmate. Lots of checks incoming, yeah. Now I can see that. King g1, queen takes d4, rook takes d4, bishop takes f1, rook h4. I guess that's gonna be checkmate. But how about king g1, queen takes d4, rook takes d4, rook takes f8, then rook takes f6. Yeah, king g1 is probably checkmate. The good thing about king g1 is that it forces black to give away his queen immediately. No, I'm gonna take it. Yep, it was the right call. This position is the real puzzle, says Ihix. Yeah, let's look at the analysis of that. Yeah, so queen h6, it was a good move. And then takes, rook h4, bishop takes. And now I think what I calculated was king g1, queen takes d4, rook takes d4. And now I actually did see this move. This is the last line I was calculating. And this is what made me decide against this. And then after knight takes f3, I can go bishop takes. The idea is that after rook h4, I go bishop h5. And if you take this one, then black does manage to get his passed pawn, and the counterplay created by that passed pawn means that black is able to remove all of the attacking pieces white had. So yeah, this knight f3 is very, very clever. Because other than that, there's no defense to just the rook going back to h4. So black only has 2 pieces for the queen. But even so, he had to give away more pieces in order to stop the white attack. Well, basically trying to remove one of these 2 very strong attacking pieces, complementing the queen. And if king takes, then knight takes here, and if here rook h4, then knight h7, and black actually protects everything. So what is the computer giving as the main line? Queen takes g5. This is pretty crazy stuff. Knight h7. Yeah, no, that feels strange to me. Yeah, no, this is kind of clever. This is kind of clever. Black just plays on with the queen down. He has 2 pieces for the queen, but he has 3 pawns. And those 3 pawns, I think, is going to be more than enough for black to make at least a draw. I mean, white doesn't really have any pawns left, so it's going to be very likely that black, as a minimum, manages to create a fortress. And sometimes 2 pieces and 2 pawns can be stronger than a queen. For instance, if we have an endgame similar to this, just if we have, I was trying to remove all of the pieces on the board. Okay, anyhow. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I chose the right move, which was king takes g2. And if queen d5, which I was slightly afraid of for a little while, I was intending knight f3. And now if knight h3, then queen h7. And this is checkmate. Okay, that was some good puzzles. Borkrow asks, show the solution once again, please. One more time, in addition to this, or did this include? Why did it say löst? Ask Daupa questions. It's Norwegian for solved. So it's not lost. It's not related to lost in any way. Actually, let's also check out the solution in this line, where we thought that black would sacrifice his queen. Yeah, black takes his queen, and white has perpetual check. But if white tries to make more than perpetual check here, he's going to find out that 3 pieces, a rook and a bishop and a knight, is stronger than a queen. So white just needs to make a repetition here. Okay, that's going to be it from me today. I hope you can join me tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Oslo time, 20:30. Then we're going to do the Arena Kings Blitz tournament. Hopefully Georg Meyer is busy with his tournament going on in Dortmund, and give the rest of us a chance to win. So that starts 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Oslo time. I hope you're back then, and until next time, I'll try to make my face a bit brighter, and goodbye.